Great day, everybody. It is your girl, Camille Aiko, out of Cincinnati, Ohio, inspiring you to live the life that you love spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. So I wanted to come on here today to talk about all of the coronavirus talk, because I think like a lot of you had a lot of questions. So I've just been reading, I've been studying, and so I just kind of want to share with you guys some of the information that I've gathered. Maybe you can share some information with me, and then that way we can make sure that we are keeping ourselves protected, we are keeping our families protected, and we're just keeping everybody at large protected. So go ahead and drop a 1 for me in the comments if you're watching this live. If you're watching this on replay, go ahead and drop a 2 below in the comments. So again, this is all about, what I've been learning about the coronavirus, and we just need to make sure that we're aware and that we're educated and that we are helping each other, okay? Hey, Jody, what's going on? Thanks so much. Okay, so first of all, the coronavirus, the reason why they are moving from calling it just the coronavirus to COVID-19 is because coronaviruses are a large family of viruses, okay? And so typically these viruses actually transfer from an animal to a human. And most times viruses don't do that. It's either like for animals, right? Or it's for humans. But these viruses in particular are able to transfer from animal to human, and that's what's happened. So we've seen this before, like with SARS, okay? We've seen this before with MERS, right? And so these diseases started with an animal and was able to get into the bodies of a human and impact us. And so COVID-19 stands for coronavirus disease 19, as in 2019. That's the year that it first started, okay? So hopefully now we all have an understanding of why we're not just calling this a coronavirus and COVID-19, because the coronavirus, again, is a large family of viruses known to be able to transfer between illnesses between humans and animals. And it typically in humans impacts our respiratory system, all right? And so again, as you're hopping on here, know that I am not a medical professional. Everything that I'm sharing today has been, either from the CDC website, from the WHO website, the World Health Organization. It's been from other experts that I've been watching and studying. But again, I feel like it is my responsibility to help you guys to understand as I'm learning as well, all right? And so as on my title, I will be talking about 3 key things that we really need to be doing to protect ourselves and protect our families. All right. And I've got my notes here. So as I'm kind of glancing around, that's what I'm doing. I'm checking out my notes. Okay. So this really started in China, right? The first cases, China actually knew about it, but they did not want to alarm the world. And then it kind of got out of control. And so they had no option but to alarm the world. And so thus here we are. Now they've got a pretty good handle on it now, and it is making it over into the US. And so we need to figure out what we're doing. And so that's part of what this video is going to be about. So now, how does it actually spread? Because some people are like, is it airborne? Is it moisture droplets? So right now, what we're gathering is that it is actually spread by moisture droplets. So what that means is, if you're standing in within about 28 inches, okay, some people have been saying 3 feet, whatever the case is, you are standing within that amount of space of a person. If you spit, if snot comes out, if you wipe your nose and then touch somebody, essentially there is a moisture droplet that comes from that person, and if it's transferred to you, then you can get the disease, okay? So it's typically transferred through your mucosa membrane, also the lining of your eye. And so we want to make sure that we're aware, right? We want to make sure that you're aware of this stuff. And so typically it is transmitted from that, not contact from surfaces. So even though we should be making sure that we clean our surfaces, most of the cases that they have seen have not come from, there's been a surface that was infected and then you touched it and you got it. However, that's not to say that it doesn't happen. And so that's why we want to make sure that we're cleaning. But So know that it is transferred through moisture droplets, and these droplets don't have to be big. Like most of them aren't even big enough to be seen by the human eye. All right. And so that's one of the concerns as well, as far as how rapidly this is spreading. So when we actually are looking at the numbers of the COVID-19, it's not necessarily that it's killing so many people. Like when we had SARS, that was more death, right? It had a higher death rate, but it wasn't as infectious. This is more infectious, and so we're trying to get a hold, and when I say we, I'm talking about as a nation, as a world, we're trying to help stop the spread of the virus. And so that's why, you know, a lot of people aren't going to work and schools are closing, because we understand that the more we're around people, the more that it might actually spread to other people, right? And so we want to get a hold of that. And so the first line of defense for us, because there is no vaccine, there is, you know, no medication that you can take, is to stop the spread of the virus. And so you want to stay home, right? You want to make sure that if you do go out, that you're not sick. You know, if you feel sick, if you got a lot going on in your body, just stay home. Be in your room to yourself, not around people. Wear a mask, right? Do the things that you need to do to help stop the virus. Don't make unnecessary trips right now, because literally we don't know. And you can have the virus sitting within your body for days without knowing that you have it before it actually shows symptoms. Now, it has been said that it's very few people that are actually transferring it during those stages. It's mainly mostly contagious when you have the more severe side effects of this disease, but it's still something we don't really know, right? That is the thing, is that the world is in limbo about how to really manage the virus. And so that's part of the issue, right? There's things that we can say, but we don't really know for sure. And so a lot of what we're doing across the globe is just taking precaution. All right. So again, it's highly infectious, but it's not highly deadly. Some people are dying, right? Just like people die from the flu. However, we feel more confident in that as a world, because it's like we have a vaccine. We kind of know how to treat that. We've been around the rodeo with that. That is a human-borne disease. This right here is an animal-borne disease that crossed over into humans, and that doesn't typically happen, right? So when it does happen, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, how do we handle this? How do we manage this, right? Okay, so let me see. I've talked about this. Feces. Can it be contracted from feces? Right now it's saying that it's very low amount, but that's not to say a low percentage. That's not to say that it can't. So again, this is the importance of when you use the bathroom, you wash your hands. Guys, a lot of this isn't anything really that I'm going to say to you today as far as the plan to make sure that we're stopping the virus and stopping the spread of the virus and killing the germ and all of that. It's not going to be anything new. It's going to be stuff that you needed to be doing anyway. Washing your hands, 20 seconds, soap and water, right? Okay. So how likely am I to catch the COVID-19? And right now I'm actually going along with the World Health Organization site. Okay. Let me scroll back up here. Because I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the right answer. How likely am I? Click the wrong button. So it really depends on where you are, right? If there's some cases that have broken out in your area, then of course you want to be more cautious, because that means that if people are going to be more infected in that area, right? And so this is the type of thing where there's going to be a lot of exposure, but it doesn't mean that you're actually going to get the disease. So if there's a high exposure chance for you, you know that there's cases in your area, then you want to make sure that you isolate yourself more, keep social distance, so that way you don't end up getting the virus, right? Okay, so there was one stat that I did want to share. Yeah, so if you're living in an area, you're visiting an area. We'll go ahead and move on. Should you worry about it, guys? I don't consider it a worry. I consider it being precautious, right? It's called using wisdom. You want to use wisdom in times like this, right? And so, because the thing is it can develop into something serious. Right now, when people get it, it's like a cough, You might get a fever, but they're not even telling you to go to the hospital, right? They're telling you to stay home, treat it, get it under control, wear a mask. The average is about 5 days, and you're going to be okay, right? Now, they don't want you calling the hospital and going flocking to the doctor's office, because what does that mean? Everybody who gets a cough, right? Everybody who sneezes, everybody who has some type of fever, now all of a sudden we're running to the hospital. And what does that do? That causes more crowds, more people, more crowds, the more chances to spread the disease to more people, right? And so that is what they're trying to avoid. So when you might be experiencing some of the symptoms, treat it at home. They say do not call there until really you're having more severe symptoms of this, okay? So let's move on. Who is at risk of, and since I mentioned that, let's talk about who is more at risk of developing severe illness. So older people, persons with pre-existing medical conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, lung disease, cancer, or diabetes. And really these people, because their immune systems are low, right? And it's because their immune systems are low, their body can't really fight off the disease like they need to. So I heard one expert explain it like this. Your body has your immune system, and the immune system has different layers to it, right? And guys, let me know, give me some hearts, give me some likes if this stuff is making sense to you. But our immune system has different layers to it, right? And so the first line of defense is kind of like our strongest line of defense. And the thing about this disease, the coronavirus diseases, is that it kind of escapes and goes behind the back, if you would, of the front line of defense for our immune system. And so when that happens, the rest of your immune system starts fighting the coronavirus, but now your front line of your immune system has to catch up. It has to turn around and get itself into the fight, right? So if you have a low immune system, if you have a suppressed immune system, if you have a compromised immune system, then that means it's going to take your body longer to get in the fight, to fight against the virus, which means that you can be impacted more greatly than a person who has a strong immune system, okay? So there aren't any medicines. There's no therapies. I already talked about that. Should I wear a mask to protect myself? You should only be wearing a mask if you are sick, okay? If you're the sick person, then you're the one who wants to wear a mask. If they're disposable, guys, then don't re-wear the mask, okay? Because you're not going to help. You're just going to be carrying the germs around. Can your pet catch it? There has been a case where a dog has gotten it, but it's not anything alarming as far as your pets go. How long does the virus survive on surfaces? Now, this is still up in the air. Some people say a couple hours. Some people have said a few days. Either way, you want to make sure that you are sanitizing. But again, remember this, guys. Even if you sanitize, all it takes is one person to come in and talk and spit who has it, or some snot comes out their nose, or they wipe their nose, or any type of moisture droplet, right? They're rubbing in their eye. Any of that can now cause that to be unsanitized. Or public transportation, if they wipe off the rail and sanitize it really good, that's great. But the next person comes on, they've got the virus, they've got a germ, and guess what? It's unsanitized again. So the main thing through all of this that I'm saying is, guys, we really want to boost the immune system, okay? So packages. Is it likely that you will get the disease from packages? No, not necessarily, okay? And in fact, it goes through so many temperature degrees that it's probably killed off the germ by the time that it's gotten to you. However, one of the top places that are dirty is your mailbox. So you might want to actually cleanse your mailbox or open it with a paper towel or something, because, that's one thing that we don't typically clean, right? We don't typically clean our mailboxes. And so you just want to make sure that that is not only clean, but infected. Did I go over that already? If not, let me go over it because I don't remember. So, there's cleaning and there's infecting. And so, or disinfecting, I'm sorry. So with cleaning, guys, means you can clean off a surface. It looks clear. You've wiped off the crumbs off the table. That means that it's clean. Now, disinfecting, though, is when you actually spray like a disinfectant, use bleach in the water, you clean that surface off to actually kill the germ, right? So that's the difference. And they suggest that you do both. Cleanse it off and then disinfect as well. Okay. Is there anything I should not do? Smoking, wearing multiple masks, taking antibiotics, like that's not going to help you. Okay. So those are the things that you do not want to do. Now, let me go over to my other list because I have more information. Guys, I've got tons of information. I'm going to try not to bore you with everything, but keep it to the things that are pretty important that we need to know. All right. I talked about that. How does it spread? We talked about that it's the droplets. Again, hopefully you guys are taking this information to heart. Let's talk about what the symptoms are. I did not mention that. So the symptoms could be cough, sore throat, high temperature, shortness of breath, and fatigue. So understand that the actual virus can be in your throat and you not know it for days. So this is why it's important for you to drink water on a regular basis, like every 15 minutes or so, to help flush any germ that might be in your throat. Now, it's going to move from the esophagus down into the gut. Understand that 80% of your immune system is in the gut. Once it hits the gut, there's some killer cells there that will kill off the disease once it makes it to the gut, but you have to have a strong immune system in order for this to work properly, right? So you're drinking water, it moves from the esophagus down into the gut. Once it gets into the gut, if you have a strong immune system, that's where 8 of your immune system is, it will kill it off, right? Okay. So now, how does this impact the body? So the virus is actually going to enter in the mucosa brain, right? So this could be the nose, the mouth area, and the lining of the eye. It finds a host cell in the respiratory system, and then the host cell then bursts and infects other cells, okay? And so essentially what begins to happen for the people who end up dying is essentially they're like suffocating to death, okay? That's pretty much what happens. And so the severity that happens what happens if it gets out of control is pretty big and pretty painful and pretty severe. So it says most victims of the virus die from complications including pneumonia and swelling in the lungs. The virus can also cause swelling in the respiratory system, which can make it hard for the lungs to pass oxygen into the bloodstream, leading to organ failure and death. And severe pneumonia can kill people by causing them to drown in the fluid flooding their lungs. So again, the coronavirus and the COVID-19 attacks the respiratory system. So now, how to avoid it? And I've really been talking about this as I've been going along. But again, guys, we want to stop the spread, okay? Cover your mouth when you cough in a napkin or in the elbow, right, of your sleeve. If you're coughing in your clothes, you want to make sure you take off your clothes as soon as possible and get them washed because the germ can live for hours or days, right? And so that means if you then go and touch somebody, which we shouldn't be touching anybody right now, okay, or hug somebody, now you've hugged them and that germ that was on the sleeve is now on their arm or on their face or wherever, and now it's allowing them to get the disease. Make sense? Okay. Since this is a droplet and it comes from the body, right, from person to person, making sure you stay 28 inches away, 3 feet, 6 feet, stay your distance, okay? Don't come spray anybody. So that is stopping the spread, okay? Now, killing the germ, we already talked about. You want to clean the surfaces, and then you also want to disinfect. You want to wash your hands on a regular basis with soap and water, right? Warm water and soap. Now, if you don't have any water and soap available to you, you want to use hand sanitizer. And the level of alcohol concentration is about 70%. Now, guys, don't be using this stuff that has like 10% alcohol and 90% glitter, right? Don't do that because it's not helping anything, okay? It is not helping a thing. So we want to clean, disinfect, wash our hands constantly, pretty much at this point, guys, because you don't know who's a carrier. You don't know if you order a pizza or something. You don't know if you have to run out to the store, who may or may not have it. And this is talking about going to a pandemic level. And that's really the issue that's going on here, is that even though we don't have a high level of deaths, the infection rate is very, very high. It's very infectious. And so since we're not 100% sure about everything that this disease can mutate into, we have to make sure that we're on top of it. All right, so stop the spread, kill the germ, and fight the disease. And the best way to fight this disease, guys, is by boosting your immune system. So if you've heard me talking about this earlier or a couple days ago, you're going to continue to hear me talk about it. But I've been saying boost the immune system, because even though you sanitize an area, you clean it, you wipe it down, you disinfect it, all it takes is one droplet of an unknowing molecule from somebody's mouth, their nose, their eye, and you can get the disease. Okay? So, knowing that it's going to a pandemic level where they're expecting 30 to 70% of the population to be exposed to this, it only makes sense that you boost your immune system, because that's the only way we can fight it. There is no medication. I repeat, there is no medication. There is no vaccine. So the more we're on top of it, the better off that it is. So this disease isn't as deadly as SARS, but the concern again is the rate of exposure and infection that people are getting it, okay? So, and if they're expecting more and more people to get it, we don't know how that's going to pan out, how people are going to react. So boosting the immune system. Most people are deficient of vitamin D3, and vitamin D3 is the only vitamin that we make in our bodies. So you want to make sure that you are taking a supplement that has a vitamin D3 in it. Now, in particular, if you are a person of color, you have a lot of melanin in your skin, because we don't bring in the sunlight. We don't process it down. It doesn't convert the sunlight and the cholesterol and all that and then convert into the vitamin D3. So we want to make sure that we are taking a vitamin that has plenty of vitamin D3 in it, vitamin K2, and also vitamin A. Of course, you want to get your vitamin C in there, but most people aren't deficient of vitamin C. We have plenty of vitamin C in our system. But when you think of 50% of the population is actually deficient of vitamin D, it's kind of like, what's the biggest bang for the buck? You know, you want to go in, boost the immune system for as much as possible and only having to do one. But of course, load up on your vitamin C, okay? Then a probiotic. So a probiotic is good for your gut health. And again, 80% of your immune system, 70 to 80%, is where? In the gut. So you want to make sure that you get a good probiotic that's going in and helping to clear out the colon, right? Because when you don't clear out that colon, you've got intestinal sludge sitting there. It's a place that is just breeding disease and you don't even know it. That bacteria is in there. And so we want to get in there with a probiotic. We want to clean out any bacteria that's in there, because that is going to help to boost our immune system to fight off the virus. Now, your probiotic needs to be a good quality probiotic, because what happens is in the colon where the bacteria is there's clusters of bacteria. And so you might have bacteria that's in the front of the colon and you might have bacteria that's in the back of the colon. And so what happens when the probiotic gets into your system, it will actually kill it off. Your immune system will recognize it as a foreign agent. And so the body is amazing, isn't it? So you need a good quality probiotic that has the technology that's going to allow the probiotic to get across the entire colon. Some of you have been taking probiotics for years and it hasn't helped you. And this is the reason why. Because when it gets into that immune system in the stomach, right, the killer T cell starts killing it off to try and protect your body, not recognizing what's going on. Okay. So the other thing is to make sure that you're taking omega-3 and omega-6. And so guys, we can be getting this from our foods, or you can be getting this from supplements. I definitely suggest doing foods and supplements, because it's not just the coronavirus. It's not just COVID-19 that we need to be aware of. It is still the flu. It is still upper respiratory infections. Like there's so many other diseases that are still killing us at a faster rate that we need to be more aware of. Let me not say more aware of, but we just let us not put it on the back burner just to focus on COVID-19. We have to make sure that our immune systems are boosted to fight off any disease, okay? So Vitamin C, zinc, echinacea, elderberry, chaga, ganoderma. These are some things that you can be taking to boost your immune system. I said Ganoderma lucidum, oregano, golden seal, L-lysine, essential fatty acids. You want to stay hydrated. You want to avoid sugars, gluten, dairy, and eat anti-inflammatory foods. And so I'm going to wrap it up with this, guys. I'm going to give you a list of foods that are anti-inflammatory, and then I'm going to give you a list of foods that cause inflammation in the body. So here we go. Leafy green veggies. This is the list of what you should be eating. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, pineapples. You can be eating wild-caught salmon, chia seeds, flax seeds, turmeric. That's not necessarily a food, but it's very good for anti-inflammatory. Sardines. I know some of this I can't take. All right. Mackerel, anchovies. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just the messenger. All right. Broccoli, avocados, green tea, herbal teas, peppers, mushrooms, grapes, extra virgin olive oil, dark chocolate and cocoa, tomatoes, and cherries. Those are all not anti-inflammatory foods. So let's get into the inflammatory foods. Junk food such as fast food, convenience meals, potato chips, pretzels. Refined carbohydrates such as white bread, pasta, white rice, crackers, flour tortillas, biscuits. Fried foods, French fries, donuts, fried chicken, mozzarella sticks, egg rolls. Sugar, sweetened beverages such as soda, sweet tea, energy drinks, and sports drinks. Processed meats, bacon, beef jerky, canned meat, salami, hot dogs, smoked meat. And then your trans fats, shortening, partially hydrogenated veggie oil, and margarine. So those are the things, that second list is the things you want to stay away from, not just for COVID-19, guys, but for your overall health to boost the immune system. Okay, so hopefully you've learned something about the coronavirus, which is a family of viruses that transfer from animals to humans, right? They're able to go where typically most diseases are just animals, are just humans. So COVID-19 is the latest one. The other two was SARS and MERS, and now here we are with COVID-19. So in order for us to get on top of this, my top 3 points to you guys is this. Stop the spreading, okay? Stop the spreading of the disease. Then you want to kill the germ, and next you want to fight the virus. Thanks so much, Brandon, for joining in. Okay, guys, so again, hopefully that was helpful. If you have questions, you can let me know. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I've just been reading and researching because I want to be aware. I want to protect myself. I want to protect my family. I want to protect you guys. So that's where I've gotten all this information from, and I've got tons more, but I'm just sharing a little bit on today. We're definitely going to keep pushing. Absolutely. And I don't know. That's it. So you can go to the CDC website. I prefer the WHO website, actually, which is the World Health Organization website. They seem to be a little bit more thorough, in my personal opinion. So yeah, guys, get out here, boost your immune system, stop the spreading of the virus, and also make sure that you kill the germs. That's my time. Camille Aiko out of Cincinnati, Ohio, inspiring you to live the life that you love spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. If you guys need some supplements, holla at your girl. You know what I do. Peace.